All right, I call the Personnel and Finance Committee meeting to order. First thing we have on the agenda is the minutes of July. Any questions about the minutes of July 17th, 2024? Hearing none, we move forward. Next, we have reports and discussion, personnel. Take your time.
I'm trying to hurry up. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's the report for the Human Resource Department for the month of August, well, basically for July to date. We have continued to focus on the daily administrative tasks, recruitment, employee relations, compliance, reporting, benefits, onboarding, risk management, and workers' compensation. We're currently in the process of renewing our health benefits for this upcoming year. And the summer youth program ended July 26th.
Okay.
We have a total of 68 employees, 2 new hires, 1 in public safety and 1 in finance department, which I believe was mentioned last meeting.
Right.
We also had 5 layoffs and 1 transfer.
We got 5 layoffs.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and finish. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And that is due to the water plant.
Oh, okay.
So, and 1 was in code compliance due to the restructuring of the code compliance department. So we currently have about 9 positions open. 1 is the city manager's position, the finance director, and we still have 4 in the public safety department, as well as park attendants. So, but the season will be over with to October the 31st.
I did see the new finance director resumes too.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that concludes the human resources.
Hey, just one question about the health benefits. So how is the health benefits? Pretty good? We getting a pretty good, I know health is expensive.
It is, for, I would say the last 3 years, we've been pretty good as far as the percentage rate increase. However, this year is gonna be different. It's about 21%. It's not 16,
It's
close
19,
enough.
yeah, it's
Right.
19 for the most, but the average is 16.
Increase this coming up year
Okay, now,
from the rates that we have gotten back so far.
Is it up to the employee to take the benefits? They can
It's
opt out?
optional. They can opt out. We do have 4 plans that employees can choose from. But yes, it's optional.
Any questions? Thank you. We did want to talk about, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Well, city manager resumes, that's what we was talking about that now, yeah. So we have the committee would send out the resumes to all the commissioners. And I think it was a total of 24
20-something.
20-something like that. And so we asked all the commissioners to pick the ones that need to fit the description to the resumes, the candidates that fit the description. So we received some, so we have a total of 5 that's been selected.
Okay.
We'll be sending to you. And
Yes,
this
to
was the
schedule.
process. Yeah.
So for the interviews, how did you want to do that? Do you want it virtual or in person? And sometimes it just depends where they're located.
Yeah.
Because most people
Let's see
are
if
out of
all of them
town.
interested first,
Okay.
if they still, then maybe we can take it from there.
So my suggestion would be, if they're able to attend in person, person. I do know that some of the candidates aren't from the immediate area,
Okay,
so if they're not willing to come in person and they wanna do their first one virtual, but I really think that if we choose them and we push them to the commission, that they have to be in person.
okay.
So will dates be provided to me? What I have noticed is that it's easier once you get a person on the phone to go ahead and schedule at that time. Because if you call back, you probably won't get in.
Yeah,
So do you just wanna do it at the next meeting?
yeah,
Cause it's gonna, the initial's gonna be during personnel and finance, well,
Let's
with
do
the personnel and finance committee.
yeah, let's correct, yeah.
So we can plan for the next personnel and finance
It's gonna
meeting.
be the MA. No, that's public safety.
Doesn't work, correct?
There is a person,
It is not.
okay, let's do it then.
So for the next meeting,
Yes. Next, for the next person in finance meeting.
And then we have what, like 15 minutes for that?
Yeah.
sorry, you said 15 minutes. Okay.
No, two commissioners just stepped in, so what we just decided, well, we had out of the 24, we selected 5 for city manager position. You will get a copy of the 5.
I thought it was 6.
Selected 5 that fit description.
Okay,
You'll get a packet with,
please do.
yes,
I'm the chair.
yes.
Who select 5?
We sent out all the applications resumes to the commission. The clerk sent out an email to, ask the commissioners to select.
Okay,
So I'll put it on.
thank you.
All right, Commissioner Kennard.
When each of us that did send them in, who was the one that made the final choice of which ones that were sent in?
The committee,
Who was the committee?
it's the Personnel and Finance Committee,
Oh,
and that fits the job description. You can't choose all 20-something resumes.
I know it, but it was more than 6 of them that looked like fit that job description to me.
We got the 5.
okay. What's the next step? I'm the chair.
Set up interviews.
And when will that be?
At the next Personnel and Finance meeting. If they still interested, we gotta get in contact with them first.
When will the information get to us?
As soon as we get the information, as soon as the
The
clerk,
5.
we got
I got it, for you.
we got it right here for you,
I'll have a packet for you.
Is it already ready?
right now,
Oh,
yes.
great.
It's right here.
Can I have it?
It's up to the clerk. Make sure Ms. Kennard get one too.
I appreciate it. I've been waiting for a long time.
Thank you so much. All right, next we go to the city income tax. The information on the city income tax.
For July, August, we have been continuing to finish preparing late individual and business tax returns, as well as completing the reorganization of our filing system. To date, we have processed 412 residents' tax returns and 1,478 non-resident tax returns. And the tax returns are due each year, April 30th. And it goes for anyone that live and or work within the city limits of Benton Harbor. If you live in the city limits of Benton Harbor, it's 1%. If you do not, it's 0.5%. And that goes for like businesses, corporations, partnerships, anyone that is actually doing business or actually located within the city limits is 1%. So we're basically finished issuing refunds except for the late tax returns that has come in, but we are completely up to date. And for the payment comparison for July of 2023 to July of 24, for individual returns, we're down 45%. For withholdings, we're up 38%. For total deposits, we're up 32%. For refunds, we're up 94%. And our revenue is down 962%.
Yeah.
And that's just from like that month to month. And it varies, just depends upon when people actually send in their tax returns and refunds come out, so.
Administrator, is there a fee for lateness, late fee, late filing? What is that?
Yeah, so we
Percentage?
do have penalty and interest, but what I have been doing is since every time, like if you do a penalty and interest, you get a lot of pushback regarding it. So if a resident pays like their tax return,
Mhm.
I normally just kind of waive the fee. So it won't be like something extra on their return that they like owe $5 or something of the sort when they actually pay. However, if they do not pay and it stay on there, then the penalty and interest stay on there as well.
Any questions about the city income tax? Commissioner Henry?
Can anyone give me the impact when big corporations lay off? Or the other question that what I don't remember if it was answered was about the contractors, if they were also a part of that income tax. But I'd like to know how we were impacted with the big layoff down in Whirlpool's campus. And I would like to know if the contractors that are working in the area are also part of that income tax.
Minister, can you answer that? Have
Um,
Whirlpool?
Whirlpool has laid off, correct, and that is one of the reasons why the refunds is up, to be honest. So since they kind of withhold income tax, we don't actually get the refunds till the person file their income tax returns. As far as the contractors, I just received a list from Abermarsh probably on Monday with the listing of contractors. So therefore, I will be sending out letters. First, I need to verify if they actually have been filing tax returns, but I'm a one person, but I'm starting the compliance little by little, but that's the first step. So I just received that information from Abermarsh this week. But to answer your question, yes, they do supposed to pay city income tax as long as they're doing work within the city limits of Benton Harbor.
So there is no verification that they have or have not. Am I correct? You don't know if they have or they have not?
That's correct. I do not know since I just received the information.
And is there anything, I know you regulated this, tax, is there anything that we could do if they didn't do it since the tax has been in place? Because there's been a lot of money flow through Benton Harbor in the last 8 years.
Right, the city income tax started in 18. So I know that first year, we really didn't do too much anything other than kind of getting the word out, even though to today, people still say I wasn't aware of the city income tax, so.
We start on the water service lines and up in 20 and 21, I think. I don't know, maybe we can check into that and see, I don't know, do that. Rhonda, do they?
I know who were paying,
Okay.
so, and some of the big contracts started in 2020 with the bond, when they were doing all the sewer and water for
Mm-hmm.
the bond, and then it just rolled from there to the lead service line. So we know what contractors were paying.
You can find out if they paid the city income tax.
Well, I would have to give her the list.
Okay. Can you get that information for us?
Yes, I can. That was on my to-do list since I just received the list. It really wasn't a long list of people, so I'm not for sure if we used the same people over and over again, but the list wasn't that long.
Thank you.
Commissioner Bernard?
Explain to me today, what was the city income tax established for?
Road,
It was voted in years ago.
roads, alleys, streets, and sidewalks, and deemed emergencies. City income tax,
That's correct.
yeah, which it has been working.
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure, yeah, infrastructure. That's what we've been using them for. An emergency, a deemed emergencies, like we had the big bus falling up on Nolan, I think. We had to, I think we used city income tax money to fix that at one time.
And that was to take care of alleys.
Can you send that, the resolution, right?
Ordinance.
Ordinance out to the commissioners. Yeah, it's
I'm
just
not for sure.
alleys.
Was it alleys? Was it
Oh,
alleys?
go ahead.
There were, I think, there have been two major projects for
Mhm.
local roads that did include alleys. One was, I want to say, $1 million, and the last one that was over 22-23 timeframe was 2 million.
Yeah.
So there's been a substantial amount of money paid out of the local income tax
Okay,
for local roads.
okay. Now, was there matching dollars spent with that?
From whom?
I don't know, I'm just asking.
It was all paid out of the income tax money, the whole project. Both projects were paid from the income tax receipts.
Thank you.
That concludes my report.
Thank you so much, Minister Galladay. Hard work.
Thank you.
There's one question for you about that code compliance. Did you and Chief ever work something out yet? You just don't.
No, we have not worked anything out.
Okay.
He's basically reorganizing his department himself, so no, nothing
Okay.
basically panned out.
Next, we have number 3, the financials.
Should I bring my computer? Does it work
And
here?
everybody has a handout.
Okay. It's only 4 pages, 5 pages.
Everybody like to see it on the computer, the commission, anything to see?
They're coming next Wednesday.
Oh,
they
to
got
fix
some-
it.
they got
Okay.
something going on. Technical.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Everybody has a copy.
Yeah, the first,
Everyone would be able to see it. Put it online.
yeah. The first slide is related to the cash balances as of July month end. General fund and utility fund services are nothing, zero.
Still low.
Yeah, and that's because there's some payments for prior commission meetings that had to be made.
Okay.
Both funds did receive some cash during the month of July.
Mhm.
The county's revolving fund check came in and the general fund received $398,000 and the utility fund received about $170,000. But there again, that went right out to pay bills. There'll be this month we should see more in the property taxes. There were some property taxes received and distributed in July. About $229,000 was for the general fund, but we'll start seeing the property tax pick up, and the biggest amount of receipts will be around September 16th due date. So on the utility fund cash, good news there, it's picking up gradually, and in July, 400,000 was received. Yeah, so it's higher, much higher than, moving faster, I should say, than I thought it would. And then so far, August to date,
Mhm.
300,000 has been received. And we have another week and a half
Mhm,
of collections. So that's really, really good news that the cash is flowing
Since
there. It's
the-
just gonna take a while to catch things
Catch up,
up.
so since the word went out that the water's good and paying the water bill.
Right, and shut off started, so
Things
that.
are starting to,
Mhm.
flow in a good steady flow each month.
Yeah, and there's still 144 active payment plans. So there are people in the queue that are making payment
Keeping it
plans
up.
too, that are keeping,
It's good.
most of them are keeping it up. If they don't, they'll fall into the shut off world, but
But that's good.
but the cash is looking better as far as the utility fund goes, so. Let's see, the next slide is just, I left it in from last meeting, is just a synopsis of what each fund is and where they get their revenue sources as a, just a reminder where money's coming from. In the month of July, there wasn't a lot of activity. A lot of the invoices that we pay in the month of July are actually for your year end, June 30.
Mhm.
So there's not a lot, other than payroll, there's not a lot of activity in the month of July. Because everything's getting booked back into June for your year end. Same thing with, on the next slide, there was really no activity, it looks like, in the lead line replacement,
Mhm.
but it's because we haven't received the July invoices yet. They're always a month behind. So we will be getting their invoices in September, August, September timeframe.
Good, good.
Mhm.
It's good to see that utility fund is
Yeah.
starting to get in some flow.
Mhm.
you
Little
know, some flow.
momentum,
Yeah,
yes.
That's good.
Yes.
And what did you say about the CDBG fund? Is that?
That's really just money in and out.
Mhm.
The CDBG usually, for a while, shows expense, but then we make a draw and then it gets replenished. So it's, by the end of the year, it's a wash.
Mhm.
What's spent has been reimbursed by HUD.
And the pension fund, how's that be keeping up? I know it's been,
This piece of the pension fund is the amount that's collected from property taxes. It's a
Mhm.
very small millage. And the money comes in, it's about, I want to say 80,000 a year that comes in from property taxes. And that gets transferred to the general fund to cover the major payments of the pension. So it's not a lot, but it does help.
yes, it's good. Because we still in the first stages of the budget, the budget's just beginning too, right?
Right.
So,
Mhm. Yeah, and next time we'll have the whole packet with all the data
okay.
by department. We just haven't got everything updated in the system yet. So we'll have good comparisons next. Detailed comparisons next meeting.
Any questions for Ron? Mr. Henry?
Can we get more detail on the cemetery and where their finances are? We've had some news to come out in the Herald Palladium. We didn't find out about it till it came out in the paper. And so I need to have some information on where we are with that and whatever we can do about that.
I think we paid.
Yeah, it
settled
was
that.
just, really, the cemetery's not part of the city yet. The budget's put together that it would be part of the city, but it's not right now. It's the same agreement that was made in March 2020, where the cemetery performs services, sea management.
Just
The money gets paid to Crystal Springs, that goes in a bank account in Huntington,
Mhm.
and then a check to pay sea management comes from the general fund. And Huntington, a check is supposed to be written to the city of Benton Harbor to pay back what has been paid to sea management. So it's just one big circle that, and no
Mhm.
money lands in the city.
Mhm.
It just goes to Crystal Springs, the city pays the bill for sea management, and the cemetery account is to reimburse the city for exactly the same amount that was paid. So there's no operation in the city right now.
So what was the holdup? Why was there a big description about not getting paid?
I don't know exactly how much it was, but there
It in
was,
the hundred.
well,
Hundred.
that's what they said. How much was it? A hundred?
Roughly 100.
Yeah, it was there was a cash shortage, and the cemetery account had not replenished the city. So, but that's been settled out. now. So they've been paid, but the city now is waiting to be paid, so.
The city's now waiting on Huntington Bank.
Right, we need to get a check from Huntington Bank deposited into the city
And
account.
what is the arrangement and the timeframe that Huntington is supposed to reimburse us?
Well, we have to get somebody on the checking account. Alice was on the checking account, so we have to go through the motions of making changes to get all that changed. And it's taken a while with Huntington, so.
Yes, I'd like to ask, where would I find the information on work has been performed in the basement of this building? Where is that, the amount that was spent?
There's been no money spent on renovating or doing anything with the basement. It's a mess.
Gerald Jackson was the one that did the work down there.
Well, it must have been years ago.
No, it was just recent.
What kind of, I don't recall any work being done
Yes,
in the
it has
basement.
been.
City manager, you got know anything?
There was no work done. What Mr. Jackson was doing, and I just kind of left it flap out here in the wind because people just seemed to want to conjecture on what was happening as opposed to asking me what was going on. Mr. Jackson repaired 5 chairs in the meeting room downstairs that were leaning and sitting kind of easy-doozy for the last, I don't know how many years. The cost was $75 per chair, and I think the total thing was something like $350.
So, and it wasn't for the basement, right?
No, it
was
wasn't
for
for the
the
basement.
break room /
Right.
conference room.
Exactly.
Okay.
Excuse
Just
me.
somebody saw the man go down there and made a great big deal out of it, and I just let him keep it going.
No. I'm gonna tell you what God does, and that's the truth. I was coming in and he was coming in. I said, you headed to the meeting? He says, no. He said, I got to work. He said, I'm working in the basement. I got to do cleanup in the basement. These was his words.
He was working in the basement repairing the chairs.
He didn't say fix the chairs. He said he had to clean up because it was a mess down there. That's
Well,
what
it
he
still
Fixing the
is.
chairs.
And it's
I
still a
had to
mess.
take the chairs
said.
down
Don't
there
even try to
because
put it.
I didn't want the chairs going out of the building.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And it is a mess. I got pictures of the basement. It is a mess down there. If he didn't-
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Through the chair, liability for the cemetery, because there was one time also media relay in terms of making sure that the bodies were where they're supposed to be and all of like that. Who does that fall on? Does that fall on Crystal Springs? Because that did come back towards the city. So, right now, we don't have a fiduciary relationship with this circular relationship of moving monies around. But do we have any actual obligatory commitments that we have to the people buried there and their families?
Yes, we do have. Crystal Springs is owned by the city of Benmar. And as a consequence, there is no way for us to escape some responsibility and liability in the instance where the cemetery lacks the funds to cover any situation that arises. So it's either covered by our insurance or we're liable for it.
All right. Anything else, Ron? Next on the agenda, we have new business, resolution to approve Peninsula Fiber Network to conduct soil borings at Gene Clark Park. City manager.
Yes. This resolution follows information I shared with commissioners some months back when we were approached by PFN and 123Net. Since that time, they've actually held a public session for the entire region out at Lake Michigan College about their plans to, what it actually began with is that the state of Michigan put out a RFP to get a firm to lay fiber optic cable underneath Lake Michigan, coming from two of the fastest electronic data centers in the country that are in the south in Chicago. Those lines would run underneath Lake Michigan, coming to here at Benton Harbor, and then from there would go through our streets and up north toward it's called Benton something Center, just outside of Grand Rapids. They're dual lines. There's a second line that'll be coming in over at St. Joe. It's redundant in case something happens with this one. But in essence, we were approached about the line coming in here to Benton Harbor. And the first step that's necessary is they need to do soil borings out at Gene Clark Park. These borings will go down 80 to 180 feet, way below anything that would disturb anything that we have. And once they would determine exactly what the conditions are and so forth there, the next step would be to work with us on getting set up to move that line once it's put in under the lake through and up to its destination. So at this point, what we're doing is requesting the commission's approval to give them authorization to do those drillings so that they can determine just what the conditions are.
Drilling to be at Gene Clark Park.
Yes.
And
once they, in fact, I believe in the material that's attached there, you see that these will not be huge holes. They'll be about around 6 inches diameter. And once they've completed getting what they need to get, they refill the holes with the material and so forth. You would never know it had ever even happened.
it won't interrupt its use and all that.
That won't interrupt anything.
No cost to the city.
No cost to the city and potentially a great benefit to the city.
Yeah.
Currently, all fiber optics on this side of the state comes out of Chicago underneath the ground following pretty much I-94. But one of the problems they have continually had that caused interest in this project was that as construction goes on constantly down in Indiana, in Michigan, in Illinois, these lines get cut and interrupted, and they're without high-speed internet for various periods of time. coming underneath the lake. Highly unlikely that you'll have those kind of interruptions. The redundant line is there, should it ever occur. Recall from the demonstration they were showing out at Lake Michigan College, these lines will lay on the bottom and they have some kind of weights that go over them to keep them held down there. And about the only major exposure for damage or cutting would result if somehow a ship dropped an anchor on the line or something of that nature, but then it would just go to the redundant line. But the thing about it is, just with this new approach, the fastest, highest speed internet in the state will be coming right through the city of Benton Harbor, which provides access to some degree for the city. We've been talking with them for quite some time now on this.
So the city will benefit by getting this high speed too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I might also mention this as an aside, not linked with this, but it's a piece of it. And that is, I believe a week ago, last commission meeting, you passed the 123 net for them to be able to go underneath the streets and so forth.
Right. Dr. Time?
Yeah, thank you, through the chair. So what we're, in terms of the Great Lakes, I forget the depth of the one that's here. But you're saying they're gonna be 100 feet, more than 100 feet down or something to that effect, because there's like a little trench area.
That's where the borings are going to go. That doesn't necessarily mean once the line comes through here, it's gonna be that far down. But that's where they're planning on bringing it in underneath St. Cloud Park at a depth like that, and then from there go into a manhole and then underneath the street, just like pretty much all of the other utilities do.
Right, so it's gonna come from Chicago to Gene Clark Park and then get disseminated out. And is there, with them providing, with the city providing access, will they be gifted use of this, or the city will have to pay at a discounted rate or same rate as anybody else using fiber optic?
We're working with them and discussing how we might be able to work all this out. There will be some benefit directly to the city, and then there will be some where we may have an access point that we can connect it to.
These sites are going to be environmentally restored, so that's not an issue. And the work is to begin, we're getting close to the end of the season, so the work is going to begin expeditiously. As soon as we get the approval, then they can start moving forward. Is that what's needed?
That's what's needed. I anticipate that they will begin doing that as soon as they can.
Yeah.
We did have our engineers also look over the material and submitted an email that they don't see any problems with.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, I move support.
Questions? Senior? Ms. Kennard?
How much was the cost that for our engineers to look at?
I don't think they charged us anything to look at it.
All right, we'll move this forward to the full body. Thank you. We have public comments. Anything you want to say?
Mr. Chairman, if we could, before we, this is sort of a personnel, since it's a personnel committee, I'd just like to ask him, not trying to be confrontational or anything, but Did you happen to encounter some of the inspectors out this afternoon posting some lots, Ms. Kennard?
Posting some lots of what reason?
They were, I guess they were posting them because they were not in compliance. They were gonna take enforcement action against them.
No, so are you saying that mine was not in compliance?
No.
The
I was informed that you had stopped some of the workers who were out posting some lots and then you
I
said
haven't
something.
even been out, but what's the day and I didn't talk to anyone.
That's why I asked. It may very well have been somebody else.
It could have been someone else. But I do have one thing to say. I did question it, some of the workers some days ago and asked them about that tree, what I mentioned to y'all. And the telegram post is like this here. They're hugging each other like this here. And you referred that it's the owner's responsibility. But then the telegram post is on city property. And my homeowner's insurance and all said that anything that is on the city's property is not the responsibility of your own personal property. And that's what we pay is for our personal property, not city's property. So if anything, an injury from the tree that they cut the root off, they're past the sidewalk on the tree lawn part where this telegram post, and that if anyone wanted to see it, I bring the picture the next meeting. They're hugging like this. And I said, why would they plant a tree and a telegram post that close together? And they're hugging. And they were supposed to, you got a picture.
Picture right here.
And they're hugging just like this here. So why would I be responsible for a tree or trees that was planted on, and we not to plant trees on city property without permission? And those telegram posts that put it, it's got the serial number and everything. They're like this. And the tree, the telegram post, the tree has grown into part of the telegram post. So why would I be responsible for something that the electric company and the city has jurisdiction over? Why should I have to take that down? Because that's not my property. And if something happened with that root being cut off of that tree in order to get the sidewalks moved, if that tree fell and hurt somebody, how would I be sued for it? That's the city's property. But that's what I was told, that is be my responsibility.
City manager, you know anything, you seen a tree? Have you seen this?
No.
Have you seen?
You were
You-
supposed to send Michi out to look at it.
Can I send this to your email?
Sure.
Okay.
Send it, yeah,
Or your email?
send it to city manager.
Okay. All right. Wait, we get this taken care of. It's a hazard.
Right.
You take care of right away.
Right.
That's it, all right,
Should wait on that.
meeting adjourned.
Yeah, for sure.